Whoa! Hey guys, welcome to Just Nate 22, and you'll not believe this, but I just did it again. I forgot to turn on the dumb microphone. I recorded an entire 20-minute session of Just Nate 22. The whole episode was mute. Could not hear a thing I said. I should have just put it out there and just let y'all read my lips. That would have been interesting. But that's not the way I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna go and re-record the whole episode again. Hopefully I remember what I said, which I don't because it's all just random jibber jabber coming from my mouth. I'm not thinking what I'm saying. I'm just saying what I'm thinking. Know what I'm saying? So, today, I was gonna go ahead and tell you about, number one, what happened on Friday. So, let's rewind a little bit. Let's go back a couple of weeks. 1 week. Let's go back 1 week, all right? Not a couple weeks. Let's go back 1 week. So I'm working out in the gym with Miguel. Miguel and I have been working out together for the last few weeks, and so Miguel's like, "Hey Nate, you ever been out to the shooting range before?" And I'm like, "No, Miguel, I haven't. Last time I shot a gun was a shotgun at summer camp back when I was like 14 years old." And he's like, "Really? Well, I got an AR-15 and a Beretta, and I usually go out to the shooting range. So you want to come before I head on out?" Because Miguel's leaving in like 2 weeks permanently, which is really sad. But he's like, "Well, before I leave, why don't we go up to the shooting range?" I'm like, "Hey, sounds good to me." So we wound up going on Friday. So I went to Parisi, coached my class in the morning. Then he comes over, and then we head on out to the park and go to the range, and there's a lot of people out there. I was surprised. It was pretty fun though, but it was had a lot of guys out there shooting guns. But it's loud too, man. You have to get the earplugs, and you have to wear your sunglasses because it really is loud, And if you don't have that ear protection, it's just like your head just swimming. But anyway, we got to the range. Miguel shows me how to, fire the rifle, how to fire the pistol. Gives me a little crash course on it, and away I go. And I sit down at the table and get the correct positioning. And Miguel said you have to hold the rifle like this, and this hand's right here, and then you're all gotta have your arms in the right position, and you just put that red dot on the target and squeeze that trigger. And listen to the metal plate that you're shooting at go ting, ting, ting. And it's actually really fun. It's very satisfying. So the first time I ever fired an assault rifle, which was, it's pretty fun. It's very easy to shoot. It's a lot easier to shoot than a shotgun, and it's actually way easier to shoot than a pistol. So, after we stayed there for about an hour, then we went over to the other side to shoot his Beretta. And that one's interesting because, you see in the movies and the guys they're kind of like, going around like this with a gun. He's like, no, that's the movies. That's not how you shoot a pistol. Pistol, you square up and you hold the gun out like this. And this hand's here, and you're pushing this hand and you're pulling this hand. And then you got it out like that. And then you just line up the iron sights and squeeze that trigger. And there's a little kickback because it goes like this when you shoot. And, it's a lot harder to hit. I was pretty much hitting the target with every shot with the rifle. But with the pistol, I probably fired maybe 30 rounds, and I hit the target 5 times. And I was proud of myself, too, because he said most people, they can't even hit a target 10 yards away one time. And I was hitting it about 25 yards away, hit 5. So I was proud of myself for that. But it really is. It's a lot of fun. You're just going to hit there. It's kind of like duck hunt. Oh, there goes a light. I knew that was going to happen. That's what I was afraid of. I didn't want that light to fail because I already did 20 minutes. I recorded 20 minutes and there no sound. And yeah. All right. We'll just have to deal with it. We'll be all right. I still got one light left. Yes. Okay. So to continue with my story, I'm not familiar with weapons. I don't fire weapons. I don't own weapons. I've never shot a gun before in my life, other than a shotgun. So I'm shooting the pistol, pop, 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 and then I'm squeezing the trigger and nothing's coming out. So I come down. I'm like, "Miguel, I think I'm out of bullets." And he goes, and I'm like, "Whoa! I guess I'm not out of bullets, Miguel." Man, it was... He's like, Nate, you almost shot the table. I'm gonna come over there and tackle you, man. I was like, sorry. At least the gun was facing away. So, that's how accidents happen. But other than that, there's a gun wardens walking around, and it's very structured. It's very safe. As long as you're not like, hey, I don't think there's any bullets left in here. You should be fine. Wow. Yeah, that Angel's looking out for me on that one. But it's a lot of fun. So I'm glad I got to go out there and have some bro time with Miguel before he left. And me and Miguel have really been doing a lot of stuff together. And I consider him one of my pretty good friends. So it's gonna be sad to see him go off to Florida to go to physical therapy school. But I'll keep in touch with him. So anyway. Today's episode is going to be a little bit more serious. I was thinking about going over reasons why I believe that it is more beneficial for someone to, say, live at home for a few years after they get their first job, build up a little nest egg, and then that's when they move out. Versus as soon as I graduate, I am out. Adios, muchachos. I'm out of here. See ya later. So I'm going to go over those numbers and show you why I believe that might not be the best idea financially and long term. You'll struggle a little bit. Probably struggle a lot if you go that route. And that's why I've chosen not to go that route. I've chosen to look long term, 5 years, make some sacrifices now, so that way later on I'm not struggling, and I just don't want to struggle. I don't want to be like always, hey Dad, can I borrow some money? I can't pay my rent right now. Please help me. My car broke down. I need $150 to take to the mechanic because I don't have any money. I don't want to be like that. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my good friend Professor Nate over here. And I'll see you in a few minutes. Professor Nate here, and welcome to my class, Economics 101. And I will be your teacher today. So we got Nate. Economics 101. So, you just got out of college, you got your 4-year degree, and you managed to land a job that gives you a starting salary of, let's say, $30,000. Not bad, not bad. I mean, that's a little bit more than what most people coming out of college make these days. I would say probably like 22, 24, 25. But we're going to be generous. We're going to say 30. Unless you're a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, you're not going to be making 6 figures right out of college. So, let's say you get a real good job offer, 30 grand a year. You're like, wow, that's awesome. So what's that translate into months? Well, we're looking at about $2,500 a month. What? That's a lot of money. Wow. $2,500 a month, man. I'm going on cruises. I'm going to take off. I'm going to go tour Europe. I'm going to do all kinds of stuff with $2,500. I'm going to go buy me a Bentley or like a BMW or something like that. $2,500 a month. That's awesome. Hold your horses. Just a second. Okay, so you get your paycheck, $2,500. First thing. Uncle Sam. You're looking at taxes. Roughly 20%. Okay? So that's going to be about $500 right off the top. Bam. Alright, $500 ain't that bad. I mean, still got $2,000 left. $2,000? $2,000's awesome. Well, you're supposed to tithe. Alright? So, you got first tithe, but you also got second tithe. So, that's another 20%. So, you got tithe. First and second tithe. So that's going to be another $500 because we're tithing off of the gross. growth. $1,000 gone down to $1,500. But hey, $1,500 is still a lot of money. I mean, you can do a lot with $1,500, right? $1,500 is great. Well, you want to move out of the house, right? You're tired of living with mom and dad. Got to find a place, an apartment. Apartments are pretty expensive, so for the time being, you'll cut back, get a single bedroom, try to get maybe a deal. You're probably looking at about $600 a month. $600 for rent. Alright, so now you got a place to stay. $600. But you do like to have lights, refrigerator, electricity is good. So, yeah, usually that doesn't come with rent. That's another $100. Plus or minus, depending on whether it's summer or winter. So, $100 for rent. Now what do we got? Oh, you gotta browse the internet. You don't want to just be stuck staring at a wall, right? You gotta have some internet access. Well, luckily, internet's fairly affordable these days. Internet, which is probably gonna run you about 30 to 40. We'll call it 30. We'll cut you a break. $30 a month. So you got your internet. But this day and age, everybody's expected to have a phone. If you don't have a cell phone, it's like you can't even function. There's no more pay phones out there. Nobody ever calls a house anymore. They always want to know your cell phone number. So you have to have a cell phone. So now, let's say you cut back. You don't get a smartphone, no data plan. You just need minimum texting and minutes. So you're looking at probably about $40 a month for that. Okay, so got that all taken care of. So we're still looking pretty good. We got a lot of money left in the bank. Not so fast. You got to be able to drive to work, right? And in order to drive to work, you have to have a car. And getting out of college, unless mom and dad bought you a car or you saved up for some junker, which more than likely will require maintenance. So that's another money pit. Let's say you go out and you have to finance a car, buy a car. So you're looking at about a $150 a month car payment. Maybe you could find something better. Maybe you can find $100 a month. It might be a little bit more, depends. But then you also have to remember, you're also paying taxes on this too. So it's going to increase that payment. So you got $150 paying for the car. But cars, unfortunately, don't run on air or water. They require something called gasoline. And gasoline is pretty expensive these days. If your work is any distance, it's going to cost you more. But on average, you will probably fill twice a month, which will probably bring you to about $100. $100 for gasoline. Psst, gone. Wow. This is not looking good right now. But, hey, we still got money. We're good. Oh. We gotta eat. You need your own gas. Since you're a human, we're mortal. We need sustenance. We need something to eat in order to fuel our own bodies. So we're looking at a food bill. And believe it or not, food is pretty expensive even if you try to go cheap. $50 a week. Doesn't sound like a lot. But at the end of the month, that's $200 to eat. Fairly cheap. Remember, you're eating 2-3 meals a day. If each meal's like $4, I'm really cutting that bill down. So, bologna sandwiches and rice cakes, water, tuna, canned tuna, not looking good. But, hey, at least you're able to survive, right? So, $200 a month grocery bill, you're not eating out anytime soon. Now we got this thing called Obamacare. Now, this year, luckily, they've kind of pushed it back, but when it does go into effect, you will be required to have health insurance. And health insurance is not cheap at all, unless your place of business is paying for it. In most cases, if you're full-time, they will be. So if you're lucky enough to be full-time, they'll be paying for some of it, not all of it. They'll be paying a percentage. So let's just say you got the full-time job. They're paying for some of your insurance. Let's say they do an 80-20 split. You're paying for 20% of it. still going to run you about $50 to $100 a month. So we're going to go ahead and put down $100 a month for health insurance. Okay, health insurance, car payments. Oh, that's right, cars need insurance too. How could I forget that? You can't drive a vehicle unless it's insured, and unfortunately car insurance is a wee bit expensive. So that's another $100 down the tubes. $100 down. Okay, so I think that's about all of our costs. If we go ahead and tally that up, let's see what we have left in the bank at the end of the month. So we just worked our tails off. We're working 40 hours plus a week to bring home that $2,500 check. After we go through and we pay all our bills, what are we left with? Well, let's see. Okay. We are left with a grand total of, get this, $80. Congratulations, you have just worked your butt off for an entire month, so that way you can take home $80. Now, my economics here. Let's say you aren't so quick to move out of the house. Let's say you're smart about this. Let's say, you know what, I'm going to stay at home for as long as I can, so that way I don't have to spend more money than I have to. I can wait for my salary to increase while also saving a lot of money and putting in the bank, money that I don't have to spend on things that aren't entirely necessary. So what are we cutting out? Well, let's see. This isn't going to change. I mean, that's going to always be there, but you don't have to pay rent. In most cases, if your parents are nice. Electricity. You don't have to pay electricity. Internet. Don't have to pay internet. Depending on how nice your family is, if you're on a family plan, you may or may not have to pay the cell. I'm going to just go ahead and leave it there. You're probably still going to have to pay car, gas, but food, probably not going to have to pay food. Alright? So, we take that. That's $200 you don't have to pay. $600 you don't have to pay. $100 you don't have to pay. And $30 you don't have to pay. So what does that all add up to? $930 plus the 80 right here. So that brings it to 1,000. Let's see, let me do my math here. $1,010. $1,010 you can stash in the bank every month. That translates to what? About $12,000 a year to save? That's $12,000 a year that isn't going to a landlord, that isn't going to an electric company, that isn't going to an internet company, that's going into your pocket because you chose to be more wise with your finances. And after a couple of years of stashing away $12,000, that'll probably go up as you move down your career path. You keep socking that money away, after about 5 years, you'll have a nice giant lump sum of money that you can take to the bank, say, all right, boom, nice down payment on a $250,000 super nice house. I'm moving in with the wife. This is awesome. I don't have to worry about paying rent for an apartment. I got my own place. I got my real house. That's what it's all about. That's economics. That's thinking. That's not short-term, but long-term goal setting. Long-term goal setting. So that right there, guys, is why I believe that is way more wise to stay at home for a little bit longer. Don't just be so hasty to move out of the house on your own, because more than likely you're going to wind up struggling for far longer than if you decide to stay in one place. Class dismissed. Okay, that was really, really enlightening. That whole presentation by Professor Nate, which was really just me with some fake glasses on. But that's besides the point. that was really, really fascinating. And when you lay those numbers down, it does make a lot of sense. If I can save $12,000 a year versus whatever 80 times 12 is, I can't even think of what it is, but it ain't nowhere near $12,000. Was it like $2,400? Something like that. And my math is bad right now because I'm not thinking. But I was thinking when I was doing that. And man, I'm telling you, if I can say, I'm going to stash away $12,000 every year, or I'm going to stash away nothing and struggle, I think I'm going to go ahead and do this one for a while and see how it goes. That is thinking right there, long term. And my logic is, this is my thinking. If I can go ahead, sock away money right now, that way when I do get married, I will have a nice big nest egg to which I can say to the future Mrs. K, okay, which house would you like to buy? Instead of, man, I don't think we can afford that. We're going to have to move into this really bad, cruddy apartment in a crime-infested area. But at least I can train you in guns. But we can't afford one, so maybe I'll train you in, I don't know. There's nothing I can do. Sorry, we're screwed. You get a job. So, that is why I really think, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I don't want to struggle when I move out of the house. I don't want my family to struggle. I want to be able to support my family, give them the nice things in life. I want to buy a nice house for my wife. I want for her to be able to go out and buy really nice furniture to fill the house up with, to go out and have a really nice wardrobe, to go out and have a car for herself and not have to worry about sharing a car with me or having a bad lemon car, a car that don't work as well or always getting maintenance on. I just don't want to have a struggle. I want us to be able to live comfortably, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, because I'm sitting back, I'm in my little whole corner of the room, stashing my money away. I spend 12 hours, I'm at the office far more than I am at home, working hard, stashing my money, saving it, so that way when the day comes, I can be like, hey, let's do this. Boom! And that's going to be very satisfying. And that's when all these years are going to pay off. And that's when I'll be like, yes! Justice! Okay, so I have a reason for everything I do. I don't just do stuff just to do stuff. I like to think. I like to plan. You gotta plan things. Those who fail to plan to fail. Bottom line. And I have a plan. I have a 5-year plan. And so far it's going to plan. Anyway, but I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I did, kind of. I love writing on the whiteboard. That's always fun. And financial math is always good because we're talking about money. And everybody loves to talk about money, except when you don't have money. And I'm trying to show you how to have money. And that's a wrap. Till next week. Maybe I'll make it a little bit more entertaining because I did have a really funny Just Nate video last time, and now this one was kind of serious, so maybe next time I'll be somewhere in the middle, or maybe I'll be really funny again. I don't know, but my trip is coming up in a few weeks, going to Minnesota, so I'm probably not going to be doing a Just Nate, or if I do a Just Nate, it'll be a special, and it'll be filmed with my iPhone, and it won't look as cool, but it'll still be funny, and I'll have other people other than myself in it, and that'll be awesome in itself, and I'm speaking at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I still don't know what I just said, but I still have to practice guitar and put together some kind of awesome guitar music video that I probably am not capable of doing yet. I still have to practice more, but I'm going to get there, and it might be a year, it might be 2 years, but I will put together one awesome rockin' video. Wow, I just probably spoke 3 million words right there. So, I think I'm going to go ahead and say, it's been real talking to y'all, and I think I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. So, you know what? Peace out, yo!